What is going on, you bucking stallions and you beautiful stallionettes? AK40 Kevin here in the gamer heaven. You already know what I got for you today. These are the brand new Microsoft license, so first party from Microsoft, specifically for Xbox Series S and X headset, which has a ton of hype around it. They're already sold out everywhere, very hard to get a hold of. Luckily, I staggered my way on into the Navy Exchange today on lunch, and of course, shelves are stocked there. But these are being lauded with a lot of praise for being the best $100 headset for an Xbox Series S and X. I'll be the judge of that. It's my duty today to see if this set of cans has bass that'll blow your tits off, or if it's got mids that'll make you flaccid. Let's find out. Pop a squat with my old back. Alright, we are going to break into this bad boy. By the way, we're over here at the Stormtrooper desk. If you guys are new to the channel, this is where we do our unboxings, custom controller and PC builds, as well as a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So if you like that kind of thing, consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll tickle your fancy, and I'll tickle it good. Alright, so the aesthetics of the box, obviously, you're going to have a ton of lime green branding, as this is a licensed Microsoft Xbox product, and there are some really good features thus far that I have heard about that I'm personally very, very excited to test out. So, we'll set the headset aside for now and see what else comes in the box. So the packaging is nothing too crazy. You don't have any laser cut foam or anything. Just a little egg carton in here, a little cardboard, but it gets the job done. You do have a very, very short USB-C cable for charging. This will pair directly with the Xbox wirelessly, identical to a headset. You press the sync button on the console and the headset, it pairs up, and coolest of all, instead of having to install a third-party application like I did with the Razer Naris, where you install the Razer Xbox app, this is controlled in the settings in the Xbox, right next to your controllers. You'll be able to adjust things like your equalizer, microphone settings, stuff like that. You have a little instruction manual right here. Not the prettiest thing in the world. Big old pictures, no words, but if you like pictures, this is going to do you just fine. Black and white, nothing crazy here. Not the most stellar instruction manual, and I am a bit of an instruction manual snob, so I'm just going to put this down as it's starting to burn my fingertips. You have a little card here with some Egyptian hieroglyphics on top there. Cool, cool. And then you have your product and regulatory guide, as well as a limited warranty. You do not need to hold on to these to cash in a limited warranty. I say again, you don't need to hold on to these and file them away, hoard them in some drawer or something like that. If you have a digital receipt from Amazon, Walmart, etc., that's going to get you your return policy. By the way, I'm not super conceited or anything like that. Yes, I realize my face is on the screen behind me. I was just 4K video editing I was 4K editing a guy for you guys, a video for you guys. Let's get my face off the screen, because I don't like to look at myself any more than I have to. Alright, so, build quality over here, very good for a $100 pair of headphones, I will say. This is plastic up here. In fact, this is an all-plastic build, but it does feel rather premium, especially for the $100 price point. Excuse me, ma'am. No barking while daddy's recording. Thank you. You know the rules around here. So a very nice padded head strap here, or headband, I should say. Memory foam in there, kind of a pleather leatherette material up here. Very soft to the touch. Very, very nice. And it does extend all the way out to the temples. However, the padding ends right here and here. This is all pretty hard in here. There's no absorption in there. It's not squishy. It stops being squishy right about here. And then it's hard right about there. We'll see if that creates any pressure on the temples and whatnot. One of the coolest features of this headset is that you actually twist the sides here. One side's going to be your overall master volume, and the other one's going to be a game and chat blend, which I think is really cool. It does have a nice, distinct step in the middle for the 0 mark between chat and game, so you know when you're perfectly balanced. It kind of snaps to it with a very nice tactile click. That feels great. Now, the microphone is a dual-way microphone, so you have a microphone on the inside here, and that is for your actual voice, obviously. And then you have another one on the outside, so if you got somebody moaning, you've got a moaning Myrtle roommate in the next room, or you have a ceiling fan on, or you got an old whirring refrigerator or something like that, it'll pick up that noise, cut it right out, and then pick up or prioritize the inner microphone, which is facing your mouth hole. There is a mic mute button on the back of the headset here. And there is a very tiny LED light here that illuminates when it is muted. However, that looks like it's relatively close to your mouth, so I don't know how good your peripherals are going to pick up that red LED when you are muted. Then you have a lime green sync button here. This is to pair up the headset to your console. On the left ear cup, which is labeled L for loser or for left, that is going to be your game and chat blend. On the R for Renegade or for right, this is going to be your master volume over here. This does not have a distinct click or anything like that at the 50% mark, but I will say at the 0 and at the 100, it does snap into place. Everything in the middle is just a real fluid rotation and a good resistance too. It's not very loose or sloppy. I don't like very many loose things, I will say that right now. This is taut. It's real crisp and taut, and I like that. I will say cosmetically these look good. They didn't go overboard with the lime green. There's a lime green button here and a little line here, which I think they could have done without, but it's not bad. For example, the Razer Kyras that I reviewed on this channel recently, plastered with lime green. I absolutely hated the aesthetics of that headset. Let's pop them on my head, shall we, boys? So we'll put them all the way in their smallest setting first. I probably shouldn't need to adjust it too many clicks, as I do have a relatively small... head and a small brain as well. All right, so not the most comfortable, I will say right off the bat. I just tested a $100 pair of Razer Kyras and a $150 pair of Turtle Beach 700 Stealth Gen 2s. Those were both more comfortable than this, especially the Turtle Beaches. Those were substantially more comfortable than this. These aren't terrible. I'm not really feeling any clamping pressure in my temples or anything like that right off the bat, but the ear cups just don't sit too good. So yeah, not the most comfortable right off the bat. The ear cups do feel really soft and squishy, but because these drivers, they are 50mm drivers, but because the actual ear cups are relatively small compared to some over-the-ear headphones, for example, like the... like, they are absolutely dwarfed by these Razer Nari Ultimates over here. I think it just doesn't fit very well over the entire ear. Also, I'm calling it now. There's no way I'm going to see that little light when it's illuminated, when it's muted, because the mic is so far back on your head. If you have any kind of cheekbones or chubby cheeks or anything, if you have a jaw that's not made out of glass, you're not going to be able to see this damn thing. So you'll just have to know, okay, I'm muted. It'll probably give you an indication on the screen as well that your mic is muted. All right, enough jaw jacking and lip smacking. Let's pair these bad boys up to the Series S. All right, big dogs, over here in the living room, time to pair these bad boys on. First of all, I'm going to power these suckers on. Where is the power button? I don't know. I'm not reading the instruction manuals. I'm going to try and figure it out as I go. All right, so you get a little Xbox chime when you turn them on. So this is the power button / the sync button. All right, so it's making a noise right now, which I'm assuming means it wants me to hit the sync button on the Series S over here. All right, your headset needs an update. Whoa, there's mic monitoring. Oh yeah, there's some strong mic monitoring on here. I can hear myself playing back into my noggin. Update the headset. It's the first thing you want to do. Keep the headset motionless and turned on. Well, I'm turned on, but this thing is not motionless because it's on my fucking head right now. So I'm a little curious why they need it motionless. There's not like, you know, motion sensing in it or anything like that, like a 6-axis gyroscope like an old PlayStation controller or anything, but they probably mean don't spin the volume dials or press the mute button or anything like that, so we're just going to let it be for a hot minute. All right, boys, we're updated. First thing we're going to do is go into the settings over here, which is Xbox accessories. And as you can see, it's registered just like a licensed... probably should have the microphone facing towards my mouth when I speak to you guys. So, let's go ahead and... There we go. So you have your controllers there, and then obviously you have your headset as well, which is awesome. So we're going to configure that right now. Equalizer. So your equalizer modes, your presets for equalizer, you have game, heavy bass, movie, music, speech, and custom, which obviously allows you access to manually adjust the equalizer, which we are going to do in a separate video. This is kind of a unboxing, setup, and initial impressions review, and then I am going to have kind of a long-term review, probably in about 30 to 45 days after daily use with this thing, giving you guys the best settings, basically, in the equalizer and the microphone and all that other good stuff. So auto mute. This is also another really interesting feature that this headset has, is an auto mute. So you can think of it kind of like a noise gate. So in the background, you have to hit a certain decibel with your voice before your microphone starts picking up your voice to chat, or if you're screen recording for some YouTube footage or something, it won't pick up your voice. But it takes it a step further by completely cutting the microphone off when you're not speaking into it. Now, that could be either really awesome or absolutely intrusive and terrible. If it does not work properly and you're trying to be recorded and it still thinks you're not talking, that would be a huge issue. So we'll see about that.
Test with this headset. How now, brown cow? The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Peter Piper pickled a pepper. I gave your girl a Turkish snow cone. She likes her airplanes with Dutch rudders.
So I will say immediately, it is very, very easy to accidentally hit the mute button instead of the power button instead of the mute button. They're relatively close to each other. Now, don't get me wrong. Eventually, you'll get used to right there on the back of this hump right here is your mic mute, and this is going to be your pairing button. But it seems like, yeah, that's unfortunate. You don't actually have to hold this down for 2 or 3 seconds to power off the headset and disconnect completely. If you just tap it once, so you accidentally press this thinking it's mic mute, it just disconnects the headset, and then you have to hold it down to get it reconnected. And it will repair up, say headset assigned to whatever user, Kevin, and then bam, you have them right there again. But that's kind of frustrating that if you just accidentally tap that one quick press, it cuts them off. Not a huge deal though, I'm sure I'd get used to that. So I was worried about not being able to see the mic mute light out of the corner of my eyes because it is a very, very short mic. However, I can still see it out of my peripherals, but if you have a longer face or like more pronounced jawbones or something, then you probably, or cheekbones, I should say, then you probably won't see this. Now, mic monitoring, I am going to turn off. This is completely personal preference, but I don't like mic monitoring. I don't like to hear myself in my headset. So as game is the default out of the box, we're going to leave it on game for now. Bass boost, we are going to leave off. You can go in incremental steps up to plus 12, and I have heard that this headset has some phenomenal bass. I have heard even at 0, though, with bass boost completely off, the bass is actually so punchy, so powerful, so thick that it actually overpowers the rest of the frequency range. So the screaming high trebles and then also the mids. I'm not saying the mids are muddy, but they seem to get drowned out from the bass. We'll have to see about that. So for now, we're going to leave bass boost off, and we are going to leave it in game mode. And let's hop into a game real quick. I want to hear what these bad boys sound like. Alrighty, guys. So I played some Halo Master Queef Collection, and I also played some Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare, and then also Modern Warfare Remastered. And I definitely have a lot to say about this headset. So first of all, let me get you guys looking over my shoulder so I can actually adjust my settings here. This particular headset is one of the few that does sound better with stereo uncompressed on versus some kind of a synthetic, artificial, pumped-in surround sound such as Windows Sonic or Dolby Atmos. Now, I did test both of these. Now, I did test Windows Sonic as well as stereo uncompressed quite extensively, switching back and forth, and I will say stereo uncompressed sounds a lot better in these headphones because how the bass boost works in these headphones, absolutely everything gets bass boosted. Everything. Every frequency below, like, the mid-range down gets boosted up. It's not just the low bass, it's everything from mids down. So you get this huge bowl of bass soup, basically, where everything just sounds super, it's sloppy. It's just like, it's just like nonstop bass. It doesn't sound very good. So when you put on stereo uncompressed, it basically just targets the low frequencies such as gunshots and explosions, which is what you want. You don't want absolutely everything, so even people's voice dialogue sounding like it's booming in your skull. Like you've got some dude whispering sweet nothings in your ear. So speaking of bass boost, like I said, put it in stereo uncompressed. Now do also try not Dolby Atmos, do also try Windows Sonic, as it does give you more of a cinematic movie feel to where everything in the background is very ambient. You get a lot of sounds from wind and birds and crickets and like a bunch of exterior noise. But if you're just playing competitive multiplayer, stereo uncompressed is going to give you the best dynamic stereo spread, so you can get, you can pinpoint enemies and whatnot. Plus, like I said, the bass is actually very sloppy with artificial surround sound. So, I have this in game and then bass +6. I would stick between +4 and +6. If you're at anything below 4, these don't have enough bass to feel very rich and full in the low end. And then if you go anything above 6, the bass completely overpowers absolutely the mids and highs completely. So what you want to do is stay between 4 and 6, stereo uncompressed, and it actually sounds pretty damn good. Now, game sounded pretty good. Heavy bass to me sounded even sloppier. Movie and music, I really didn't notice that big of a difference. Like I said, this is just an initial impressions review. I am going to play with this a lot over the next 30 to 40 days and pinpoint the maximum settings for this headset here. But as of now, I've got to say, game, bass boost 6, stereo uncompressed seems to be the play here. And I will say, these do sound incredibly good. Now, something else I don't necessarily like. So 2 things I really genuinely do not like about this headset. First of all, this is a big one. There is a noticeable audio delay, which is weird because this is not connected via Bluetooth. It's a dedicated 2.4 gigahertz connection, just like the controllers are. But there is it's only a couple milliseconds. It's not a full second, obviously, or anything like that. It's milliseconds, but I tested this extensively in different games where I would pull the trigger on a gun and you would see the muzzle flash, and then just a millisecond later, you would hear the crack, you would hear the actual gun go off. And that is, you know, some people might not even notice it, but I do because I'm reviewing this, so I'm specifically looking for flaws like that. And there is a noticeable delay. I turned it off, repaired it 3 times. And for one time, it actually kind of synced itself up, and then it went right back to doing it. So that is kind of, you know, it's not a very huge delay, but it is noticeable, at least to me. So that was frustrating. Same thing during dialogue. I was staring at somebody's lips, and it was just ever so slightly not synced up with what they were saying. So that was weird. The next one is when you're adjusting the volume, there is a ton of dead slop in this wheel here. So it just jumped down to 0, but there's a lot of steps in here. I'm turning, nothing's happening. Turning, nothing's happening. Turning, nothing's happening. Whoa, it's all the way at half. Let's go back a little bit. There's a lot of loose slop. They could have made this volume just like from here to here, but it's got all this extra in here. And as you can see from it being reflected there on screen, it's not actually adjusting the volume. So I tested this out during a dialogue. There was obviously a conversation going on. I was adjusting up and down, and I'm like, well, nothing's happening. There's a lot of dead slop in the volume there. So that's a little frustrating, but not a huge deal breaker. But what really is frustrating is that lag, that delay, which is weird because it's not Bluetooth. It's a wireless connection. So that's awkward. And also, I will say, they do sound very good for a $100 pair of headphones, and you need to remind yourself of that while you're listening to them. This is not a $250 or $300 pair of SteelSeries or top-of-the-line Astros or something like that. This is a, I would say, entry-level headset. $100, that's pretty much the lowest where you're going to get a quality headset. And quality headset, I think it is. I think it sounds very, very good, especially when you use the settings that I talked about, stereo uncompressed, bass boost +6 in game mode. It actually sounded really, really good. It sounded crisp, it sounded clear, and it sounded good. I mean, the bass was rattling my skull during gunfights. The dialogue was still crisp and clear. So it sounds very, very good for a $100 headset. I have to caveat that because you cannot think that you're going to get these and it's going to compete with, you know, a $250 or $300 headset. It doesn't work like that. Being somebody that's somewhat of an audiophile, I am able to very distinctly hear some flaws in the frequency range, in the equalizer. It has pretty dynamic response. The mids are not muddy or washed out or anything like that. There is a good lack of treble. There's not very good highs in there. And the bass is very overpowering. But if you go any below +4 on the bass boost, then it's lacking. So I feel like there's a very fine balance that you're going to need to play around for your personal preference. But for me, it's between 4 and 6 was a good bass balance. As for comfort, they are okay. They're relatively comfortable. I didn't feel any pressure on my temples or on the top of my head, but my ears got sweaty almost immediately. There is not very good ventilation in these. As you can see, there's no perforated material, there's no cooling gel in here, there's no you know, mesh or anything like that. These are closed back headphones with a sealed off kind of leatherette material, which basically closes in the sound so people can't hear your headset volume, and also the noise cancellation is very good. Just passive noise cancellation. Obviously, it's not powered noise cancellation, but passive, i.e. it just cups your ears, and what that does is blocks out, obviously it's cupping your ear, so it's blocking out external sound from your fan or refrigerator or whatever, and that does a very good job, but your ears do get sweaty very quickly. Like within 5 minutes, my ears were noticeably hot. They stayed like that for the entirety of my play session. So I will be playing around with these a whole heck of a lot more, but as of now, I'll say for a $100 headset, they're very good. If they were any more than $100, I would say there's better options out there. And as of now, I mean, are these better than the Razer Kyras, which are also $100? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would say no at this point, but it'd be damn close, like damn close. Honestly, I think the Kyras are probably just a skosh better, but I haven't given these a fair chance yet. I played with the Kyras almost daily for about 20 days, and obviously I've only had these a couple hours. So I'm going to try them out some more, but so far there are some, you know, some issues, some delay. My ears get sweaty, a lot of slop in the volume, and I can't really fine tune the bass. I mean, I got it kind of where I like it, but it's either too much, bass is overpowering everything, or it's lacking to where explosions and gunshots don't really give you a little tickle in the ear canal. So, I mean, it is a good headset for $100. I will say that. Comfort, build quality, being able to sync up to the Xbox. I think the cosmetics of it look pretty good. I don't think anybody would be disappointed getting this headset for $100. This is linked down there in the description below. I think it is currently sold out on Amazon. However, it does have a restock date on there, which I think was about a week from now, so that's not too bad. If you enjoyed this video, it was entertaining and informative. Liking the video helps it to get seen by more people, which in turn helps me to grow my little channel, which I do greatly appreciate. Subscribe for more content around the Xbox headset. I am probably going to be doing a couple of equalizer and test videos. Subscribe for more content like this. I test a lot of gaming peripherals, keyboards, mice, headsets, controllers, etc. I also do a lot of news in the gaming community and industry, as well as tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.